Throughout the presentation, we'll have a slideshow. There's going to be a couple of interactive pieces and some questions coming your way. Feel free to respond to those questions either on the online app or within the chat. If you have questions throughout the presentation, you can also just pop them into the chat. Presenters will be answering those at the end. There will be some time for that, and we can have a Q&A and a discussion. And I think without any further ado, we're going to let them get started. So I'll be your Zoom host. My name is Jason Armstrong. I'm with Nguyen, Canada, which is the Museums of Science and Innovation. I'm in Ottawa, which is the traditional unceded lands of the Algonquin and Anishinaabe people. And I'm going to turn it over to our two presenters to introduce themselves and to tell us where they're coming from. So take it away.
Thanks, Jason. I'm Kathy Nguyen. I'm from WWF-Canada, and I'm calling in today from Kitchener, Ontario. And I'm joined by one of our first Living Planet leaders in our Living Planet at Campus program, Milena. Milena, do you want to introduce yourself?
Of course. Thank you. I'm super happy to be here today. So I'm Milena. I'm calling from Montreal, and I've been honored to be one of the first Living Planet leader in Quebec here. So I'm happy to be here today and respond to all of your questions.
Thanks, Milena. So we shared where we're calling in from. We'd love to know where you guys are calling in from today. If you don't mind going to Mentimeter, menti.com, there's a code on the screen that you can see that you can type into Menti. And through that, you can share where you're calling in from. You know, it takes a second usually, but I love the word cloud that comes up. Here. And if you're not able to use Mentimeter, please feel free to just pop in the chat where you're calling in from. So I'm going to share my screen to show Ottawa. You know what? I'm going to type in mine too.
Oh.
St. Lawrence Lowlands. Whippy. I've been to Whippy. Oakville. Very nice. Hope you guys are having as nice weather as we are here in Kitchener, Ontario. It's I think it's something like 15 degrees out there. So I'm calling in from Kitchener. I love Mentimeter. I love that you can see all of this like that. Thanks, guys. And so I was introducing myself earlier. At WWF, I get to work on our engagement programs with youth through our work with students, our work with campuses, our work with schools, and that is through the Living Planet at Campus and Living Planet at School program. Milena, you are a recent grad, correct? And you're currently working this summer. Do you want to tell us a little bit about what you're doing?
Yeah, of course. So a bit more about me. I'm 25 years old, and yeah, I'm recently graduated. It's been 2 years now. I am originally French. I came to Canada 7 years ago to do my study here. And I always loved nature because I was born and raised in countryside, I guess. So that was something that I loved. But when I arrived in Montreal, I don't really know what I wanted to do. So I start with a basic, bachelor, in economics and politics, because I just wanted to have a lot of possibilities. But rapidly, so I come back to my first love, and I did a master in environment and sustainability because I wanted to have a good impact in what I will do. So since that, I did an internship for WWF-Canada, actually, and that's how I did know about the certification. And today I'm a data scientist, so I work a lot with mathematics and data for nature. So I'm an ESG data analyst for a company whose name is Metrio. It's here in Montreal, and we are proposing to companies a sustainability software who help companies to do their reports and to have a better impact, I guess, for what they are doing. So that's that.
Thanks, Milena. Yeah, we can't wait to get to know you more as we talk about the certification and understand what it was about the certification that drew you towards WWF. So we're gonna find out from you guys if you're studying right now, share with us what program or grade you're studying. If you're currently an educator, let us know what grade or what kind of academic program that you are teaching. And you know, Jason introduced that we are going to be telling you about our certification. So whether you're in your first year of post-secondary or your final year, this is a really great opportunity to build your resume with practical experiences that can directly translate into the workplace, especially during COVID, during a time when a lot of internships and part-time jobs that we want for our resumes unfortunately aren't available. So this is something excitingly that you can still work on during the pandemic for your resume. It's a certification for post-secondary students in college and university and at CEGEPs. If you're in high school, this is still relevant to you as well. If you plan to go to post-secondary after high school, this is a great place to learn about this future certification for you that you can start in your post-secondary program. And it's going to give you a sense of the kind of skills that you can be developing right now during high school to build your resume. If you're a campus faculty member, this is also a great presentation where you can learn about how you can engage your classes, your students around the certification, and also support student success and help diversify their experiences for their resume. And as we talk through the certification, we think that you'll hear about areas of the certification that you'll be able to support your students with in completing the certification through your coursework. And lastly, if you're a staff member at a campus, you also can use the certification to help drive student engagement and success. We partner with campus sustainability offices, engagement offices, different academic departments, all with the goal of shaping and informing this program so it continues to be valuable to students. So love working with campuses, finding great synergies, whether it's helping to bolster your co-curricular record or creating community partnerships with organizations like WWF to drive conservation action. So we're going to jump in. We're going to jump into a little bit about why we're here in addition to talking about the certification. So really, why the certification? Building a world where nature and people thrive is at the heart of WWF's mission. We believe that living and working in harmony with nature is integral to protecting it, and ultimately to protecting people. Almost all aspects of human health, as you guys know, well-being, depends on nature. We rely on it for our food, our water, our energy. It's key to regulating our climate, pollination. Our connections to nature provide us with cultural meaning, economic prosperity, as well as physical, and I know for me, mental health benefits for sure. So wherever you're calling in from across Ontario, from across the country, no doubt that you can attest that Canada is just bursting with natural riches, diverse species, some of which are only found here in Canada, and we're home to varied ecosystems that sustain us. For example, we have 20% of the world's fresh water. And having these precious ecosystem services, we do have a responsibility to protect it. And despite having this bounty of nature in Canada, nature needs our help. So our recent report, our Living Planet Canada report, revealed startlingly that since 1970, populations of Canadian species that were assessed as at risk have declined by an average of 59%. Climate change, unfortunately, for Canada is not a faraway problem. It's one that is affecting our home directly. We're cutting down trees faster than forests can grow, removing fish faster than our oceans can replenish. As a result, Canada is warming 2 times the global rate, and our Arctic 3 times that. And I love this slide. It's a little scary, but it gives such great context to the role that we play as individuals. And that is that if everybody lived like we do as Canadians, globally around the world, we would need 4.7 planets. So as many of you know, and the reason you're here today is we can be part of the solution. The slide just, to me, highlights the contribution of an individual, our impacts on nature. Personally, I find it really empowering. And for you guys on the call, as students, as educators, you have such a powerful role to play in building a future where people and nature can thrive together. There's 2.5 million students in post-secondary in Canada and over 7 million in primary and secondary. And we're just so fortunate to work for an organization that prioritizes involving and engaging this important audience in creating solutions. So no matter what you're studying at the post-secondary level, know that you can play a role in tackling these planetary issues with us. So far in our program, we have over 18,000 students engaging in Living Planet at campus. And a lot of students will tell us, they're not studying environmental programs. Does this apply to them? It does. We've created this for you. Of the students that are registered, 70% of them are studying programs that are not traditionally related to the environment. So really speaks to how important this audience of tomorrow's leaders and decision makers are, and how much you want to be a part of this. So we've developed this program for you guys, this certification, to really give you the skills that you need during post-secondary to contribute to conservation where you live, where you learn, and eventually where you're going to work. So we want to help you build your resume to stand out, and we're going to get into this. So the certification is an official one that you can put on your resume and on your LinkedIn. It's something that we can recognize students for in engaging in conservation action with us. Students are recognized on our website, listed on there, which is searchable by employers. It's a great way to substantiate that you've gained the skills and experiences that you need to practice environmental sustainability in the workplace and build a more sustainable future. So, I've talked a lot about it from our perspective, but Milena, as one of our first Living Planet leaders, what made you pursue the Living Planet Leader certification?
Yeah, so of course, I wanted something to differentiate me from other candidates on my CV. And as you know, for most of the certification, you have to pay or you have to do a lot of work or something like that. And when I learned that the Living Planet Leader exists, I was super interested because you can do it all along of your study. So it can value some of the stuff that you did before, even you don't knew about it. And yeah, I want to have something who is super recognized by companies. And I think even if you are in another field, it's always valuable to have some knowledge and some interest in sustainability. So I like the way it did. So you just have to input all your data online and it's super easy to do. So I was super interested by that.
Thanks for sharing, Milena. I love that you brought up companies, standing out to employers. We talk a lot about resume building because right now, it is such a challenging time for students out there with the pandemic. So a lot of students have asked us for volunteer opportunities and things like that. And here is a self-guided way that you can build your resume with opportunities that are right there in your local community. So when it comes to employers, we're really uniquely positioned at WWF, where we're approached by workplaces all the time, workplaces like municipalities, banks, business firms, insurance companies. They want to work with us they want to team up with us and engage their employees in sustainable initiatives and activities, things like Earth Hour, planting initiatives, and cleanups. And in trying to understand why that is, we realize that employee engagement is so critical for employers of all types, all industries, all sectors, because ultimately it saves money and it at the same time helps to save the planet. So workplaces where there is employee engagement or there are extracurriculars, we found that these companies experience less turnover, they have higher productivity, their employees report being happy and proud to work there. So employees who, all students are going to become employees, think of yourselves co-op students as employees as well, you can bring environmental initiatives to life for fellow employers, like hosting cleanups, leading planting initiatives, for example, to stand out to managers and senior leadership. To give you a sense of how much workplace engagement there is in our programs, the number of workplaces that participate in our Great Canadian Shoreline Cleanup increases significantly with each year. The workplace makes up over 40% of the shoreline audience. So you can get a sense for how much workplaces do want this piece of engagement. So by working on the certification with us while you're in post-secondary, you're demonstrating to employers that you understand how to organize initiatives, you understand how to mobilize people around conservation action, and that will really help you to stand out. So looking at the certification, Milena, we should just get into it and talk about the category requirements. So you touched on how you're able to do this throughout your whole post-secondary career. That is absolutely correct. You have from first day of your first post-secondary program up until 3 months after graduating from your final post-secondary program to complete all the requirements. It really captures your post-secondary experience. So we're seeing students in this program who are in their first year, they're in their 5th year, they might be in their master's program or their PhD. Really, it's applicable during all levels of your study, all times of your study, and it's self-guided. So you can use experiences with WWF, you can take environmental action with your campus, you can go out to local community groups and other not-for-profits that are driving conservation action and get your actions completed through them. So there are 4 category requirements to complete, and Milena and I are going to break each of these down to demonstrate how you can go about completing these requirements before you graduate. Some of you might find that you already have some of the requirements, and that's awesome. You'll be able to go in and submit those to our platform. So we'll talk quickly about volunteerism. We all did volunteerism when we were in high school, and then there's something I know that happened to me when I was in university. I let that one sneak by me, and I didn't realize how much entry-level experience I get from volunteer efforts. So individuals who can bring volunteerism into the workplace, so invaluable to leadership and to their organizations. So we see this happening a lot with workplaces where volunteerism is really, really valued. So getting back into volunteerism during post-secondary is to your benefit for sure. You get so much technical expertise, experience in mobilizing people. You can get any kind of experience really from volunteerism. So for the certification, we ask that students complete 40 hours of volunteerism on environmental action, whether it's with WWF or another organization, in order to complete this requirement. Milena, what did you do to complete this category?
Yeah, so at the beginning, I was looking for some opportunities on my campus. So I found out that they were planting some trees on the campus. So I went there and I planted many trees actually. And then I made so many friends who were volunteerism too. So we wanted to find something else. So we used a lot. I remember we used a lot the Facebook events that you can find online, and that's pretty magical because when you find one, the algorithm of Facebook is sending you all those events related to what you are looking for. So it wasn't during the COVID, but at this time there were a lot of opportunities, and that was very nice. So I also did some cleanup with the Great Shoreline Cleanup, of course, and also I'm working to remove some invasive species from a lot of places around Montreal, and then there were some environment events. So I was a volunteer to help at some event, very various things. So yeah, there is plenty of opportunities if you are looking around, definitely.
Thanks, Milena. I know that during COVID, it is really challenging to find volunteer opportunities. So, love what you brought up about the cleanup. So, through the Great Canadian Shoreline Cleanup, despite the different restrictions that are in place right now, you can still volunteer for the Great Canadian Shoreline Cleanup and host just solo cleanups or small group cleanups. The time that you spend organizing the cleanup, the time that you spend leading that activity, and the follow up from that, all of that counts as hours towards the Great Canadian Shoreline Cleanup Program. So something to think about if you're in a bind to complete this requirement, or if you're looking for volunteer opportunities in general. My partner and I, we do a lot of cleanups in our neighborhood right now because it helps get us outside, and we're really into birds right now. So we're always looking out our balcony at the different birds, and just in doing cleanups right now, you can feel like you're creating some positive impact for them and ensuring that litter does not get into their habitat. So, feeding a couple birds with one seed by doing cleanups and getting your hours, but also helping nature to thrive. We also know students on campuses, they're reaching out to their campus sustainability offices and asking if they can help with virtual events. So we've seen a lot of that this year, and we've also seen a lot of students helping volunteer for their campuses by, helping create social media posts or social media strategies. Some of them are creating really cool campaigns for their schools to help drive conservation initiatives. So we highly recommend looking out to someone at your school, whether it's a sustainability office or a student success department, student engagement, or your student association, and seeing if there's opportunities there. And lots of online opportunities. Like Milena said, once you start Googling, it's going to start following you around and supporting you in that way. Love this category requirement. This is the second one. So this program is for students no matter what you're studying, because we really feel that, if we're going to solve these planetary issues, it really takes all of us coming together with our unique perspectives and experiences. So we do believe that you can drive more environmental sustainability in any area that you're studying or your future career path. And this component of the certification gets you to critically think about how you would apply sustainability to your area of study. So students can complete this requirement via 3 different ways. You can either take a course in environment, so you get to educate yourself on environment, sustainability, conservation. There's another way to complete this requirement, which includes applying sustainability to an existing course. So, for example, if I'm an event student, I might make my next event project a sustainable event. If I'm a culinary student, perhaps I apply sustainability, environmental concepts by using locally sourced materials, locally sourced foods, for example. There's so many amazing examples that we've gotten from students. You guys are so creative, and you really get into this one, so that's very cool. And if you're in a program where you don't get the chance to take an elective or apply sustainability to an existing project, what you can do is you can submit a reflection paper to us that would tell us how you would apply sustainability to your area of study in your future career path. Really, the goal for this category is getting students to critically think about the role that they play in driving environmental sustainability. Milena, do you remember how you completed this category? I know it was almost 2 years ago now for you.
But that's sure, for me, it was pretty easy since I did my master in environment and sustainability. For me, it was super easy to fulfill it. But yeah, I take few classes in environment. I take classes even in climate change. So I guess you can have courses related to your fields by a way or another. And I did a few projects. I remember I was part of a project to help the campus to be zero waste. And also they were building a new campus. So I work on improve the mobility around the new campus. So yeah, there were a lot of things going on that you can be part of, and it's pretty easy to fulfill, I guess.
You're such a change maker. Look at all the things that you've been involved in. Such a superstar. Thanks, Milena. I really appreciate having you here and sharing your insights. Um, I'm I think we can check out the next category requirement. This one is, I don't know how you feel, Milena, but this is one of my favorite ones. And I'm going to actually I'll pull up our website so that you guys can see what it is that we're speaking to. So this category requirement relates to walking the talk, practicing sustainability, practicing conservation in your daily life. So it's a checklist of items that you complete during your post-secondary experience. Day-to-day things such as, bringing your own mug, reducing plastic in different ways, powering down your computer, reducing food waste, things that might seem simple to a lot of us, but if everyone were doing them, we all know it's not the case that everyone is doing them. So we really want to recognize that these are important actions that the individual can take. And when you go into our site, which we'll walk you through how this happens, how you can go about getting the certification afterwards, what you would do is if you participate in this action, if you regularly perform this, you would check it off and then reflect about what it is that you've done. Why is it valuable to you? What's challenging about it? Getting you to really reflect on your experience, and it will also help you value that experience more. And it helps us learn about why that might be particularly challenging. So, Milena, were there any checklist items that you found to be super straightforward for yourself?
Yeah, of course. So some of them were pretty easy. For example, bring my own bags or bring my own mug was the things that I were doing since I was very young with my parents. So those were okay. But I really liked this list because that helped me to concentrate on the things that I don't do, that also give me new ideas. For example, I never turned off the computer on the campus because I don't know. I was like, oh, that's not my computer, so I rather let it on. But that was super useful. So I learned to do new things, and there were some of those were pretty difficult. So I have to work on it. I don't remember. I have to pass on it, but I know there is some gesture that I don't do, or for example, the compost things here in Montreal, not all of the place have the things for compost. So it's also a good occasion to raise your hand and say, oh, I need that in my place to help me to have a better impact. So yeah, really like it.
I love what you said about that, about how some of these actions inspired you to seek them out, and realize that they don't exist. So then it compelled you to take action, to share your voice. We've had a few students share that as well, that they noticed that their campus wasn't posting that they should do double-sided printing, duplex printing. So they spoke to their libraries about that, and there's something you students have such a powerful voice. Sometimes there's committees of staff members who will try to get something from a president and it doesn't really go through, but when a group of students comes together and asks for that, it happens. So you guys have such an important voice. And again, some of these things might seem so simple, but if everyone on your campus were doing them, think of the impact. So that's really, really great to hear, Milena. Um, if anyone who's listening in wants to share some of the actions that you already do on a regular basis, feel free. But if you're completing the certification, in this checklist, there's 3 categories and over 60 items. So you just have to complete 40 of them. And Milena alluded to kind of a campus-focused category. So participating in different things like Earth Hour or participating in a student club on campus, these are part of the checklist items as well. So hopefully within this list, there are a lot of different things that you gravitate towards, allowing this to be more personalized to your lifestyle and your experience, your interests. The one that I found to be I wouldn't say challenging, but it was something that I had never really done before. And then through this list got me thinking a lot more about it is the participation in citizen science. There's so many great programs out there that really support people in being citizen scientists. And it's simple, like doing the bird count at Christmas time. Things like that. It's I really do, like you, Milena, enjoyed this one a lot, this requirement. And we also want to recognize that we haven't thought of everything. There are so many different sustainable actions, conservation actions out there that we should be capturing. So students have the opportunity to add up to 5 of their own conservation actions that they feel have not been captured here that they complete. So yeah, if you're completing this certification, feel free to add up to 5 of your own. And we do partner with campuses, and campuses are able to add 5 of their own campus specific ones. So for example, Laurier students have this fantastic move out program on campus. And so Laurier students see that if they participate in that, they can check it off their list, as Laurier students see that option in their requirements or in their category. So that was our 3rd category requirement. Let's look at the leadership and teamwork one. So this one here, I'm sure for a lot of you, it's a no-brainer that leadership experiences for your professional resume are very important. Very, very true. We did a lot of scoping when we were coming up with the certification, talking to employers, talking to campuses, and initially we were going to call it leadership, but then we were given great feedback that so 2 different pieces of feedback. One, students, you guys are so humble and modest. While you're doing leadership things, you might not see it that way. So if we had called this category leadership, a lot of students who are leaders probably wouldn't think that they qualify. Says so much about your generation. As well, the teamwork component, a lot of employers fed back to campuses that, you know, the graduates that they've hired, they're amazing at working independently, but what they really want to see more of is teamwork. So we felt it was very important to ensure that students recognize the value of teamwork and leadership, and that they're equally important. So for this one here, what we're looking for is one experience in leadership and teamwork related to conservation action. So, you know, being a good leader is not just about being a point person for a project or being the presenter of a large pitch. It's requiring the ability to delegate, to influence, to respectfully challenge viewpoints and to empathize with others and to listen. So that's what a lot of employers seem to be seeking, and that's why we want to recognize this. So Milena, can you remind me, how did you complete this category requirement?
Yes, I'm pretty sure you would be able to complete it during your classes, but for me, I was participating in few case competition. There was that at my university and the other university in Montreal, so that was super nice. That was a nice opportunity to meet people and grow your network, definitely. But yeah, I participate to one who was the World Climate Negotiation Training, and another was Climate Change Challenge, I think. And yeah, there was some event, and you have to simulate a world negotiation on climate change. So you were picking a country, and I think I was Brazil or something like that. So that was pretty difficult. And you were defending what you need to be done for your country, and how to do it in a way that can respect planet too. So that was pretty difficult, and that was super nice because you had to hear about all the other students and make a consensus to go to something would be eventually nice. So yeah, that was a nice opportunity. And again, that's super beneficial to meet people and grow up your network, definitely.
Fantastic. Yeah, the being a part of those competitions, great way for leadership and teamwork opportunities. Other ways that other activities that count under this category for Living Planet Leader would include, you know, leading or being an executive member of a student club on campus that relates to the environment. You could also be someone who's organizing an initiative or an event, like a shoreline cleanup or maybe a native planting project. You could be working with your campus and helping them lead an event or an initiative as well. So lots of different things count towards this category requirement. We are going to share with you guys an opportunity that we have coming up that relates to what Milena was alluding to, the pitch competitions. We have one coming up, so we'll touch on that in a moment, but it's a great way to complete this requirement. So take a moment, reflect on your experiences that you have with leadership and teamwork, and no doubt you've gotten some of those experiences, whether it's leading a student club or being part of one, helping lead an event, or an initiative on campus. So I'm gonna just jump to the next slide here if it'll let me. Just a quick recap of the 4 category requirements. So volunteerism, we're looking for 40 hours of volunteerism with conservation action during your post-secondary experience. We're looking for students to apply sustainability to an existing course or to take a course in environmental sustainability during their post-secondary experience. So one example of that. The checklist, completing that over time to complete 40 actions in total, and 1 applied experience in leadership and teamwork. And when that happens, you submit your category requirements to us by going to our website, which let me pull that up right now. So you go to our website at campus.wwf.ca, which is also available in French. And through that, you're able to create a login, and that creates a user dashboard for you. So you're able through that to become a Living Planet leader. You have this great portal of Living Planet Leader that has the 4 category requirements. And as you click through each one, you're able to see what the requirements are. We have a little bit of a recap of what qualifies. And it's simply going in and completing our very simple digital forms. So when you submit these questions, the answers to these questions, it comes to us and we'll review it and approve it. So you'll be well on your way to becoming a Living Planet leader. And love how this dashboard updates as you go through the process. I haven't completed any of it yet, as you can see, so I have a lot of work to do. But yeah, this is this platform that we've created for you to help support you. So I'm also going to show you really quickly some of the opportunities that we have through our Living Planet at Campus program. So that's the wider program under which Living Planet Leader, the certification, sits. So the program has been built to offer you a suite of activities that you can complete and use towards your certification. So different activities include the Great Canadian Shoreline Cleanup. We've brought that up a few times. We offer annually each September an opportunity to apply for up to $1,000 to launch your own project out on campus, projects that help to restore or create habitat for wildlife. So you can look out for that. Through Go Wild School Grants, you can get your leadership and teamwork component completed, and so many other checklist items. We also have our native planting program in the zone where you can create container gardens that act as beautiful, healthy corridors for wildlife to move through. These are container gardens that you can put on your front stoop, on your balcony. I have one on my front stoop that made it through winter without me covering it, and it's still welcoming all these amazing different moths and butterflies. It's quite I don't know, I feel very like I'm creating impact whenever I walk by it. So love that. And of course, we have activities like Earth Hour. So I'm just going to quickly show you the opportunity that we have coming up. So coming up at the end of this month, a great way to complete your leadership and teamwork category requirement is by participating in our Designing Change for a Living Planet student competition and conference. So it's taking place over 3 half days where you're going to get to come and network with WWF staff, with industry professionals. You're really going to have the opportunity to connect with students from post-secondary schools across Canada. No matter your experience or knowledge of conservation, we want you there to help design an idea that's going to help mobilize conservation action while representing your campus. So great resume builder, great way to connect with others and build your networks and complete some of your Living Planet leader requirements. So we're asking for students to apply to participate in Designing Change by May 5th, and you'll be notified by May 14th of whether or not you're able to join us. So what we're going to be doing this year is offering a grand prize where if your concept wins, your campus is going to receive a grant that will help them kickstart a nature-based project at school that you can be a part of and really just be a champion for nature at your school. This is, wow, I can't believe how soon this conference is actually. It's very exciting. So we want to take a moment to make sure that if there are any questions in the chat that they don't go unanswered. Let's see, I'm going to open up the chat here. Thank you, Eric, for putting the website in. So it's campus.wwf.ca. And again, it's available in French as well. So yeah, just visit our website and you can find out more. Are there any questions from anyone who's listening in or from Eric or Jason?
One thing I should have mentioned at the beginning is s'il y a des questions en français, donc je pense que ça c'était une session qui était désignée, qui était possible d'être bilingue, donc j'imagine qu'on peut répondre à des questions en français avec Melina pour assister. So yeah, English or French, ask your questions. Either you can ask them, turn on your microphone and ask them in person, or if you'd feel more comfortable in the chat, you can do that, or you can also put on your camera and we can have a conversation with the presenters.
Thanks, Jason. Yeah, Milena can definitely address any questions that you might have in French. And yeah, if there are no questions, we can share a little bit more context about the program as well. So to date, we have over 800 students that are working towards completing the Living Planet Leader certification. And they're coming to us from, such diverse academic backgrounds. It's quite, it's been overwhelming, honestly, because we thought that this would be something that mostly students who are in environmental studies would be more interested in, but to see students from all different disciplines wanting to take conservation action with us, that really, really inspires our work. So if you're a student who's on this call and you're wondering about whether this is an appropriate certification for you, this is something that is self-guided, something that you can do with organizations and opportunities that are accessible to you. You don't need to be near a WWF office in order to engage with this. It certainly is something that is for you, that you can take at your pace and help get yourself on that journey, familiarize yourself with conservation action, as it's going to be something that you'll hopefully be doing alongside with us during all the chapters of your life. So if you have any questions and you want to take it offline, please don't hesitate to contact me. My email is up on the screen there. And if you're a campus listening in, it might be important for you to know that WWF partners with campuses through Living Planet at Campus. It's a way for institutions to bring to life Living Planet at Campus at their school. So on our website, under our partners page, there is a form that you can fill out to share your interest in partnering with us. And what that looks like, campuses that partner with us, they drive student success at their institutions. They work closely with us to bring to life activities for students, and they help to shape and inform the program through strategic partnerships partnerships through our planning meetings that we have together. They have access to marketing materials, and in addition to carrying out WWF initiatives for us, we also visit campuses that we partner with to provide presentations, whether that's in person or online. And we also usually provide workshops and things like that as well. So yeah, lots of great ways that you can get engaged with WWF, no matter your role in the post-secondary space.
I have two questions. So I'll start with you, Kathy. Is there any, I know you talked about workplaces wanting to become involved in some of the work that WWF does, and shoreline cleanup being one of the ways. Have there been any thought about doing a similar sort of program, but instead of being aimed at post-secondary students, but that for workplaces who want to, get on the journey to inspiring their, that there's more of like a, not necessarily certification, but a whole program that they could do?
Jason, that's such a great question, and I love what you're thinking. So we have our Living Planet at Work program, and right now it's it's a unique program in that it offers great resources on sustainable actions in the workplace, but it's actually something that we're starting to evolve to include more conservation action, and also thinking about engaging the individual employee as well as the organization itself. So it is something that we've thought about, where campuses have told us, and students as well have told us, that they would be really interested if they were able to get a certification while they're an employee, to help continue to build their experiences, and help to give some framework to actions that they want to take. So love what you're thinking, and it is in the works. So Jason, we're going to keep you updated on that. Is that something that would you want to take part in your organization? I know that you where you're working in Ottawa.
Yeah, we've done so I worked on an education initiative for a number of years that was all around energy and climate change, and so we, as part of that, like, we tried to get our workplace to do the bike to work month that was happening in Ottawa, and tracking some of that. And we've done some other pieces like that, but it would be really neat to be part of a bigger sort of initiative. And some of the research I've done also that works very well, it seems, for inspiring environmental action is potential, is competition. There's a really interesting study around energy use in neighborhoods, where when they told people where they ranked compared to their neighbors in their energy use, that people, when they were higher than their neighbors, it seemed like that was one of the biggest motivators for them to reduce it. So I wonder if there would be a way of like harnessing a positive competition between workplaces to, like, who could get the, diverse the most waste from, landfill streams, or could, have the most kilometers of biking into work for a month, or, most, trees planted, or various other actions. I wonder if we could harness some of that behavior or that drive. So yeah, keep me posted. I would love to know more about that going forward. I have your email here in your presentation.
Thanks, Jason. I might get you to send me a link to that study too, if you can, because that is really helpful for us in scoping the landscape as we evolve the Living Planet at Work program. So love the idea of a competition across number of plants planted or number of trees planted. That's a really good one.
Mm-hmm. My other question was from Melina. Are you still in your studies, or have you graduated now?
I've graduated in 2020, so last year, actually.
Yeah. Have you found that, I know that you said one of your motivations was also to put this, to be able to have something that set you apart on your CV.
Mm-hmm.
Have you found that as you've moved out of studies and into the workforce, that it's come up in, interviews or in, placements with work? Have you been able to translate this?
Yeah, definitely. But I was really involved in sustainability and environment action and everything. So that was part of it. They were asking how that's empower me, how I put it in application in my work. So there, yeah, that was a great point. And here in Quebec, it's pretty new. So I guess the they don't really know about it, but that was a great discussion to have during the interview and everything, and I like it.
Congratulations, that's awesome. All right, I'm going to hit the stop recording.